Good morning from the hills of Derbyshire. It's a fairly cold, breezy morning, and I'm just walking up the hill and musing on the state of the world and the state of music, particularly the state of our industry. It's reading the headlines, you could pretty much decide that everything's completely finished and it's time to stop. But yeah, what's going on? I mean, it's been another tough year for all sorts of reasons. Mr. Trump and his tariffs have made it much harder to trade in America, made it temporarily set. It wasn't as bad as Brexit in the end, but anything that causes uncertainty in international trade is not a good thing. So yeah, we had that as a challenge. America's a really important market to us. Then halfway through the year there was the Google update that we thought it was just us, but it turns out I spoke to lots of people. And the Google update overnight, for reasons best known to which tech genius decided to do this. The Google update, we lost about 50% of our organic traffic overnight. So fewer visitors to the site, less sales. We had to. It was all part of it. I think partially also the AI thing with AI searches. We came back from it, but we had a quiet month in June, July, and that kind of wipes out potentially one or two quiet months in a year. That's the end of any chance of making a profit. And I know profit's a dirty word, but we don't earn a great deal. None of us earn a great deal here at the present. And a bit of profit is the chance to put some reserves aside, pay the guys a bonus, so things out, as usual, things outside of our control made for a tough year. But that's not really what we've had an interesting year. It's finishing really well. We've turned things around. The team have all worked really hard, and we've turned stuff around. But whatever sort of year we're having, I think, particularly as we come towards Christmas, we need to think about what's going on in our industry with with musicians, small venues, record labels, studios. There's no vision or long-term planning or thought from anyone in charge. It seems everywhere is all about short-term profits, take as much money as I can and get out. The old record, I can't believe that we are now looking back on the historic years of record labels with some fondness. They weren't great. A lot of artists got terrible deals, and there's a lot of bad stuff going on, but they invested in artists. Now, sometimes they were investing in an artist because they thought, here's our next million seller, it's going to make us money, and no doubt a lot of people got multi-album deals simply because the record labels needed to offset something against tax. Whatever the reasons, and I'm not suggesting that the record labels were altruistic, but artists, and not just the big guys, upcoming artists got a chance to hone their craft, to find their voice over the course of several albums. Contrast with what's going on today, and the absolute, I don't really know, I don't think there's a word that describes the people at the top kind of the people at the top of everything at the moment, they seem to be lacking in any sense of decency and moral obligation. I mean, frankly, I believe that, well, what do I believe? I don't know. I think we exist in the society we exist in, and I think it can work, but it only can work if the people at the top have a sense of decency and fairness, which clearly is not happening. I don't believe that billionaires should exist. No one deserves or needs that much money unless they're going to do something really good with it. Go back to Victorian times and the industrialists who made money. A lot of them put that money into building housing for their workers, invested in public buildings. Generally, there was a sense of community and some sort of check on these sort of excesses. But now we live in this society where it's okay to earn 500 billion and spend half of it on mega yachts or rockets to take your girlfriend up into space. I don't understand the people at the top, and I'm sure they don't give a flying fig about whether I understand them or not. But it's short-sighted, and I guess when you've got that many billions, you don't care. It's all about me, me, me. But to allow our grassroots music venues to close because they can't afford to pay the heating or the business rates, studios to close because it's more briefly profitable to build a set of luxury flats that are going to be owned by people who don't even live in them as investments. The short-term nature of what's going on at the moment is quite frankly staggering, and I'm very glad that there's lots of action springing up all over the place. People trying to save this. The Music Venue Trust doing amazing work to try and stem the obliteration of our venues. I mean, I'm a Sheffield lad and the lead mill's closed. I mean, for the lead mill to close, it's just unthinkable. Every time a small venue closes or a studio shuts its doors, we lose some of our cultural heritage, and we lose the breeding ground of the next generation of artists and musicians who are going to, frankly, make the people at the top more money. But they don't care, I don't think. They really don't care. They've done this. They've all got together and done these deals. Lucian Grange, I mean, and his son, they clearly, I don't know what the guys who ran the record labels in the old days weren't saints, but I think a lot of them genuinely cared about music and wanted they saw the sense in nurturing talent, even if it was just to line their pockets. What's going on now? I mean, look at Spotify. We've got our lovely Daniel Ek, whatever his name is. He's taking billions away from artists and investing it in arms. So if you're out there and you've got a Spotify account, or you're an artist with a Spotify and your music's on Spotify, for God's sake, wake up, smell the coffee and get out. It's evil. And if you're posting Spotify Wrapped on your feed, you are so out of step with what's going on in the world and what actually is happening. It's just disgusting, frankly. Artists, I know I see a lot of comments on people's posts saying, "Oh, well, you're making art. You're making music. You should do it because you love it." Yes, most of us make music because we love it, not because we're going to earn some money out of it. However, when someone is earning and not paying, it's like, no one would go to work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and get to the end of the week and the boss goes, "No, I'm sorry, I'm not paying you because you're not really big enough for us." And that's basically what Spotify are doing to artists. They say, "Oh, you don't really count, so we're not going to pay you anything." And by the way, we're going to invest all that money that you guys who are paying for your Spotify accounts, we're going to invest it in ways of killing people. So that's my Spotify rant over. But this all ties in with what's going on with AI. Now, I'm not someone who says all AI is bad. There is definitely a use for AI, but what it isn't is making art. There was a quote that's on the internet quite a lot about I wanted AI to do my dishes and the laundry, not while I make art, not make the art while I do the dishes and the laundry and all the work. I mean, it tells you everything you need to know about the people running these companies, that they think that the boss of Suno said, music, people don't enjoy making music. It's really hard, so, we can save them the effort. Well, you soul dead. There aren't words to describe what I think about people who come out with comments like that. They're clearly got no soul. They're just in it for the money. And so there's good things with AI, but what isn't good is that AI and the labels have colluded. Lucy and Grange, the big labels have colluded with the AI companies basically to steal artists' copyright. And now you can listen to a 90s R&B track sung by Jimi Hendrix that's been prompted by a 12-year-old in, Sheffield or whatever. I mean, who actually wants that? And actually, who thinks that people want that? I don't want to hear that. I want to hear someone with passion and artistry playing their heart out, singing their heart out, making weird music that only maybe 1,000 other people are like. I don't want some slop that's been generated by a computer that's basically stolen everyone else's work. And I think that's the thing that gives me hope, that as people realise, maybe people won't, maybe most people don't care. The same people who hoovered up those albums in Woolworths for 99p, where you got all the hits of the day, the Top of the Pops albums, and you could have the Rolling Stones and the Kinks and David Bowie all on one album for 99p. Of course, it wasn't them, it was sound-alikes. Maybe most people don't care, but I think enough people care, and art is such a vital piece of... It's such a vital part of our lives that to suggest that people are going to be happy with slop generated by a computer, I don't know. Maybe I'm completely out of touch, but my hope is that as we're forced into listening, well, I've never had a Spotify account. That's something I'm now quite happy about. It was mostly just convenience. I've always had Apple Music, so I've not had a Spotify account. I'm not sure Apple Music are that much better than Spotify, but they certainly don't seem to be quite as bad. The sound quality is better anyway. This is a ramble, sorry. I think as venues close, as we're forced into these mega stadiums and people are priced out of tickets by these corporations, and who then take a chunk of the merch off the bands, and just I think this, and I obviously I'm not of an age where I'm very in touch with what's going on the grassroots, but I think there are lots of DIY scenes springing up, people playing in living rooms, people getting together. The government's, certainly in this country, done their very best to kill off the idea of a free party because, hey, they couldn't control that or make money out of it. That's my era. I just hope that people will see through this crap and start... The best thing you can do is stop shopping at Amazon, stop paying Spotify, start buying stuff, going to small gigs, buying stuff from people directly, whether it's a label, an independent label, a record shop, the artists themselves on Bandcamp. Start hitting these people where it hurts. The only thing we can do is to stop giving them our money. And that for me that's the thing where we still have power. You don't have to pay Spotify. Oh, I lose all my playlists. So what? Grow up. Actually, losing all your playlists, I believe now you can actually transfer your playlist to Tidal or any other music service. So that's not an excuse. It's just laziness, and you don't care. So if you're on Spotify now, get your playlist off. Stop giving these monsters your money, and fight back at every possible opportunity. Use your spending wisely. Don't buy from Amazon. Don't pay money to Spotify. Don't give money to the major labels. Buy from the artists. Buy from the small independent labels. Buy from the record shops. Because actually, that's a bit of a view for you, a bit of an optimistic view for you. Because actually, we can make a difference. We can all make a difference if we all do that. If every single person on this planet stops buying at Amazon tomorrow, that's the end of Amazon. All the businesses that Amazon has killed, and let's face it, I'm not sure Jeff Bezos is spending his money wisely. Sorry, spending our money wisely. So, it's Christmas. Try and buy stuff not at Amazon. Try and buy from independent stores, and certainly music, buy from the labels. Buy downloads from Bandcamp from the artist. Apart from anything, you stop paying your Spotify subscription, you've lost access to all your music. So get your playlists off Spotify, buy downloads, buy vinyl, buy cassettes, whatever. Just think about what you're doing with your money. Think about how you can make a difference to small businesses like ours, and to artists and everyone else who is working their backsides off to do stuff, rather than making already filthy rich people even richer so that they can misuse the money that they've stolen. There you go. That's my thought for the morning. Thank you all for watching, listening. The dogs are now having fun. Happy Christmas, and spend your money somewhere other than with the big companies. Make it pay. Make it pay someone else's Christmas. Thanks for watching.